Well, you'll have to really pay attention to the latest videos that I haven't uploaded yet. For this one to really just slap you in the face like it just did me. I was sitting there cooking some bacon for my family. And in the midst of cooking that bacon, that little cricket, you know, that little cricket that I told y'all about, it said, "Hey, you are to eat a half a bag of mushrooms tonight." I was like, fuck it, why not? so I did. And about 2 seconds after I got those mushrooms ingested, my dad called me, or told me, right there while I was cooking the bacon. He said, "Hey, I need you to run over and get Chance, who's 30 minutes away, basically. He's got a bloody stool." My big brother. My big brother has a bloody stool while I'm cooking bacon. And I just ate a half a bag of mushrooms right before getting that news. Right? So it was like, like what? Dang. All right, well, I better hurry. My recent emails and those latest videos that I just made will make a whole lot of sense if you want to understand when I was talking about I can turn it on and off. Well, I'm having a hard time doing that right now. After, well, I am. I mean, I'm not having a hard time. I'm making this video. But here's the thing, okay? So I pick up my brother who has a bloody stool and he thinks he's dying. And on the way back from his house after these mushrooms kicked in, I swear to God, I'm not making any of this up. All right. So I was forced to enjoy a mushroom trip. You got to look at the big picture here. While I'm driving my brother home, who has a bloody stool. If you know what Mind Hive technology is and everything, and how you're getting raw dogged in your assholes right now. It gets better, okay? So I'm high. Okay, so he tells me, "Hey, I'm not sure if I have to go to the hospital tomorrow or not, so will you pull in and get me a can of Red Seal wintergreen snuff, and that way if I'm going to the hospital tomorrow I won't have to worry about it." So yeah, I'll pull in there and get it. So we leave, and the road that goes right to my house, I'm high, like extremely high. Was right there, and I picked him up, and I went the long way home, all the way towards Alvin, instead of taking the little short way that went to his house. I was like, how am I going to explain this one? Because he's kind of half asleep over there, right? And about the time he realized it, I said, "Well, I just wanted to let God know that if you're dying, I wanted you to take the long way home, right?" I swear to God. This is 100% true. Okay, my brother can verify everything I'm telling you. So we get to the road where you take a left to go to my house, and I pull up, and there's one of those left green signals, right? And the lights are red forever, and there was a ninja motorcycle over to the right, you know, trying to trigger the sensor. And I swear to God, this is a true story. It blew his mind right after I said I wanted to, if you're dying, I wanted to let God know that I was taking the long way home. So this ninja's over there to the right of us right before he gets home. Bam, 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 bam. Trying to trigger the alarm to make the fucking... He's waving people behind him like, come on, right? So, the light wouldn't change, right? Well, I was like, oh, I see what you did there. That's all I needed to know, right? So I went ahead and ran the light, right? I was like, oh, message ping back from the mothership received. Got the message. We aren't gonna be China's bitch. It was bacon, lettuce, and tomato is what I was cooking for supper. By the way, that's why I was cooking bacon, in case anybody was wondering. I'll do a deep dive on all the intricate details as to exactly what just happened and that ping from the mothership that just delivered a message straight to DIA, who has a bloody stool right now. Because the mushroom tip was inserted into your butthole, obviously. That's what I've been trying to explain to y'all. So, yeah, that those mushroom with the purple ring under it. Remember the little orb I said when I'd go out to the mushroom fields and my buddies, like right there behind me right now. Isn't that odd? It would take me to the mushrooms, and I always found more mushrooms than my buddies when we were shrooming. Yeah, it's a true story. I'm not making this shit up. And what I just told you is an actual true story, too. So if you'll look at those Abydos hieroglyphs, would explain to you everything that I've explained to you in my emails and all these videos. Well, that's right about the time that Colin Powell, when your head pops out of your ass, you stupid niggers. Oh, and a footnote. He brought his dog Bailey with him. Yeah, Bailey. Yeah, so we had to listen to him whimpering in the back seat. Boop, 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 or her, whatever it is. As in Beetle Bailey. As in the guy that sent all of you these supposedly comic book emails that are laced in truth. And now they're the unsealed letters of doom. For all of you idiots who attacked me with illegal technology. Yeah. He brought his dog Bailey with us, who would symbolize the almighty scarab, as in Beetle Bailey, the almighty dung beetle, whose dung ball was the biggest ball of them all, and it's a dung ball of truth that can be 100% verified. And I don't have to lie to anybody, unlike all of you politicians. Because my stories, even whenever my indiscretions in the past, out of darkness there will be light. Of course, I'm not a pedophile like all of you fucking losers, and that's why you're in office.
Capacity of one engine. Now, I like to look at cabins, I like to look at cars as a...
Hey, Alex, if you haven't copyrighted or whatever that is, where you lay claim to something there, Rawls chili dogs yet, well, you're just a fucking idiot. It's kind of like the Aluma Yessie. Remember that? I said to copyright the Aluma Yessie, which you probably didn't have the balls to do because you're just another nigger. Well, maybe you did. I guess that's a good way to prove that you've actually got balls now, isn't it? Feel free, Cowboy Church, to ask my brother Chance there, who owns the muffler shop in Alvin, who has a bloody stool, big brother, right, who has the bloody stool right now. Obviously. Well, you might leave out the part with, I mentioned the bloody stool, but, you know what I mean? But yeah, ask him about that trip that we just had on the way home here, about the ninja pulling up. Hey, feel free to do that. That's the verification process there for the Aluma Yessie. Peter, go get the coin out of that fish's mouth. A mushroom kind of looks like a penis. Or a Peter, right? Kind of like that missile that hit the DIA office at the Pentagon there. Yeah, yeah. Kind of like all these emails that I'm sending you has hit your office there, DIA. I don't know, maybe God was thinking that maybe, possibly, while you got a bloody stool, you'll listen to what I'm trying to tell you, and maybe you'll do something about this illegal invasion of our minds, which has been perpetrated by not only the Pentagon and the CIA, but other entities and corporations. So yeah. Maybe that's what this entire message was about there, DIA. Maybe God has faith in y'all to do the right thing. Or you're just going to have a really big bloody stool. Oh, and it wasn't a coincidence that Rudy Giuliani was the mayor of New York when our soul system came down. And Trump, who trumped our soul system apparently. Of course, this is all theater to let you know about this technocracy that's about to take place. And what God thinks about that is Saddam Hussein. But it wasn't a coincidence that Rudy Giuliani was the mayor of New York when that happened, so that another message could be delivered to everybody. Rude, why, July in the media? Red Seal Snuff. Red Seal Snuff. Remember Snuffy Smith? Yeah, like the fourth horseman there. Yeah, well, your little technocracy here is trying to determine who should live and die and all that. Well, maybe the fourth horseman's the one who's supposed to determine who lives and dies. And I like to keep it kind of an equilibrium. I don't like to target certain ethnicities, kind of like the CIA does. So, Red Seal Snuff. I don't know, Snuffy Smith. Well, you think Snuffy Smith would want to take out his own kind? Since I'm the fourth horseman and I do God's will, yeah, I will there, DI. Yeah, see, that takes a little bit higher consciousness than what y'all are aware of, okay? But obviously I wasn't put in this position to tell you all of this if I wanted to murder my own family, now was I? No, of course not. So maybe you might be on the other end of Snuffy Smith right now, DIA, if you haven't noticed. Maybe all of that's just a big wake-up call, and I just realized laying below me here is a king-size black marker and a spade. Well, that makes me the king of spades now, doesn't it, DI? And for all of you wondering, my dad just left that there the way that it is. And no, I didn't plan the cricket the other night. Something else did, but I didn't have some sort of a musical instrument behind me to right after I woke up in the middle of the night to tell you what went through my head with a cricket on a timer or anything there, Alex Jones. No, that actually happened naturally. Of course, you're starting to figure all that out by now, aren't you? That's why I got the local Church of Christ here involved there, Alex, because I knew you were thinking, well, he's some sort of leftist that's just fucking with my head. Well, why don't you just ask the community here in Alvin everything that they can verify everything I'm telling you very easy, just like my brother can, that story that happened tonight there, Alex. No, I'm not a leftist fucking with your head. I'm I don't really care about politics, to be honest with you. I just don't like my mind to be hacked there, Pentagon and CIA. And when you hack my mind and you chase me around with black helicopters because I started getting a migraine again, right like I did right before 9/11 happened, well, maybe you'll learn your fucking lesson. You remember, DIA, when they found a finger in Wendy's chili bowl? Well, I've explained that on my YouTube channel there, finger in Wendy's chili bowl. Well, I think right now, DIA and the rest of the Pentagon there, y'all kind of got, in the CIA, you kind of got a bloody stool, don't you? The other day when those shrooms came in, and I don't mind if my family finds out about this now, that I'm hiding shrooms in that location where I just hid them. But in the location where I hid them, in the house where it's nice and cool, of course, I had to hide it from them, right? There was a little container there that you just seen. I wanted to prove that I wasn't bullshitting about the mushrooms in the story tonight. 100% verifiable. And yeah, I took half a bag of mushrooms tonight, which all of this kind of screwed up what I had in mind to sit out in the swing and look at the clouds. But then it was like, oh, yeah. Well, see what you did there, right? So yeah, that video you just seen, literally, swear to God, swear to Jesus Christ, I'm not making any of this up, is where I hid those mushrooms, where that little purple orb used to lead me to out into the cow pasture. Well, it just occurred to me whenever I decided to tell the story, or to prove or verify the story, that I had eaten half a bag of mushrooms there. FBI, I don't really care. Come raid my house over some mushrooms. Who gives a shit? Y'all can all go fuck yourselves, to be honest with you. But inside of that little container there was a note in the bottom of it, which I didn't plan this, swear to God. It says Starbucks and Merry Christmas. But the little container said Happy Holidays. And that just happened to be in the right location whenever I went to hide the mushrooms from my parents. Now, when you put all of that together, Chase Matthew Fuller Smith, Chase Math, you Fuller Smith. I believe that's how I became Pinky in the cartoon Pinky and the Brain, and Alex Jones is Brain. And Pinky is satanic Jesus, if you will. But at the end of the day, Pinky is Rawls Scarab, or his dung beetle, who just rolled up the most magnificent ball of dung to the top of the pyramid and stuck it right on the top. So that I can make all of you my bitches. Just remember the two quotes that started all of this off before I started emailing you there, DIA. Two quotes that you need to keep really close to you there. Is, hustled you with the truth, and I'll make all of you dumb niggers religious before this is over. That was another little display of affection there that my dad just happened to leave out. Was a bunch of MK Ultra laying there on the picnic table with a blowtorch. Well, I'm not sure what that means, but you can probably read between the lines there. Britney Spears can. In Britney's case, cradle to grave, well, I'm going to rescue her. We're all CIA slaves. You may remember that MK Ultra program there. Yeah, that's true. That's what but she's a conservative, right? So what you're witnessing in the media when they attack Britney and tell her that she can't have they're taking her liberties from her. Listen to Tulsi Gabbard lately explain that taking her liberties because she's a conservative. In other words, they're telling her that you can't breed. They won't let her take out the contraceptive that's an IEC or whatever they call it, IED, IDE, whatever it is. They won't let her take it out. The doctors won't let her. They're saying, no, you can't take that out. You can't take that out. Of course, this is all symbolism, but what's going on is the CIA doesn't realize they got a bloody stool right now because there's a big blowtorch right there in the middle of all those MK Ultra bottles, and this is another super duper. You see how that works, CIA? Basically, you're getting bent over and raped is what's going on there, CIA. Yeah, you're totally exposed, and your little Hollywood program and your predictive programming program and your entire fucking program, everything you do that programs is being totally exposed. And the fact that your little slaves like Britney Spears, who decided to be a conservative, is being told that she can't breed anymore. The doctors won't let her breed, right? That's the symbolism there. They won't let her take her thingy out. Well, and they are forcing her to take medication. It's kind of like Bill Cosby and the date rape. Yeah, that was in Pinky and the Brain. How did Pinky and the Brain, let's bring Pudding Pops back to life. How did Pinky and the Brain forecast Martha Stewart and Bill Cosby? How did they forecast that President Trump was going to get elected? in 1993, because that's the true pre-crime initiative. And if you haven't noticed there, CIA, I happen to be the root hub of the pre-crime initiative to let everybody know that your new technology that's going to interfere with the cogs here on Earth that are actually godly extraterrestrial prophets, so that you can beam signals into our mind to try to buffalo the cosmos. Well, that's a really bad idea, because what happens is you just don't have technology that's quite as capable as the cosmos, and you all die. And that's the whole program that we're on here, CIA. The CIA actually takes this as some sort of a programming as to what you should do, right? No, that's not true. Preventing Britney Spears from being able to have children, even though she hasn't broken a law, and feeding her a bunch of drugs, is an exposure device. And that's why the torch is in the middle of all those MK Ultra bottles there. Yeah. CIA, you ignorant pieces of shit. Vegas, whenever they were shooting up a bunch of Trump supporters next to a pyramid, yeah, that wasn't a playbook. That's what's taking place. They're murdering you with technology. Dan Patriot Trick, so that I could explain all of this, CIA. Whenever you use me to collect his metadata, so the FISA court could collect his metadata, that's what they're doing. They're hacking the minds of Christian conservatives, and they're taking the collective conscious of the Christian conservative and putting it into a person, an actor, just like President Trump, so that he can tell them everything they want to hear while you slit their throats. See the exposure device that took place here? Yeah. Operation Bait and Tackle. I can smell their buttholes, General Boudet. This is where you cleanse my butthole. You see how that works? The snake comes around and bites himself on the ass. Yeah. See how well that snake works there, General Boudet? See, the snake allowed all of these assholes to come in here so that you could go, oh yeah, all these people are assholes. Yeah. Well, let's cut the tail off the snake, right? Jesus is a con artist, by the way. Anybody that read the verse, Peter, go get the coin out of that fish's mouth, should have figured that out.
Well, work with me here. I'm trying to work. I'll let you have the car for $19,500.
Well, I was just making me a bacon and lettuce tomato sandwich finally, after getting my brother here, who was asleep over there in the chair. And on the television, they were talking about Smokey and the Bandit. Huh. Well, let me explain what that is while I was making my bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. Smokey was Trump. And basically, the Republican leadership is a bunch of bought and paid for corporate niggers. That's what you are. You're niggers. And they also own the Democratic niggers. That's what they are. They're all niggers, right? And they used Trump as the smoke, so the bandit, after you were located and identified on fucking social media, could come in and rob you. Trump supporters. Yeah, that's what they're doing to you. From God. And Operation Bait and Tackle's working to perfection, isn't it? That's a good sandwich. Just remember this, niggers, or the tail to the head of the snake. It's a super duper. There's literally fireworks. I just heard them in the background just now, going off. I was kind of hoping when I started this video I might catch one of them, but right after I finished that last video there was somebody's blasted fireworks off. Remember that video that I made about shaving my butthole? It's crystal clear now. Ooh, I was only shaving my butthole. There's the fireworks. Just happened right at the perfect time that time. Like literally those, whoever's firing those fireworks are doing that. They just come intermittently There they go. They just started again. I wasn't planning on that firework going off just now whenever I showed you the MK Ultra snake there with the blowtorch at the beginning. He's about to cut his, shave his butthole. But the way this night's going, if it hasn't taught y'all something by now, I'm telling y'all this is 100% verifiable and true. And yeah, my neighbor's over there doing some sort of fireworks that are really loud. It's just absolutely brilliant. You'll have to turn it all the way up and really listen to it to hear the big firework explosion that went off in the background right before I pulled the trigger on that blowtorch. I'm not playing around. I'm not doctoring these videos. I'm not making any of this up. These are all facts. Take a polygraph to it. And by the way, those ivorous, they called them ivory penis, I think. Ivory penis mushrooms that I had delivered to me. They're really good. My bad. They're albino penis mushrooms. I'm still waiting on the Cowboy Church to fill me up a gallon bag of those, local from the pasture here, so that I can further demonstrate to y'all how that little purple ring that's under there is literally a telephone to God. I'm not making this up. Remember when I said God's a con artist? Well, Lucifer takes his orders from God, right? And when God wants to collect the tail of Lucifer, which is all of the little demonic niggers, right before God cuts the tail off of the snake is where the head arises to the occasion, and that is Jesus. See how that works now? What I was saying. Charlie looked at me in the back of his church the other day. He said, glad he's on our side. In other words, they ended up with the head. The rest of you scumbags who ate from the apple tree are all about to die. It wouldn't surprise me one bit after all of this if that third chance guard there brings me a trash bag full of mushrooms. I'm not saying to do that. I got a pretty good supply of them. Swear to God, I'm not making any of this up. It just hit me, DI or Big Brother. Albino penis mushrooms. And you got a bloody stool. Remember that sermon you did about unlikely servants? Well, I'm just God's messenger here. Obviously. But, well, yeah, Lucifer would be an unlikely servant. And then when you shave his butthole, well, he kind of becomes Jesus. For all of you who signed on to recent activities, all I have to say is, sayonara, suckers. Oh, and the Japanese warrior is my ET's, whatever you want to do, call it here. ET's favorite warrior is the Japanese warrior of all time. Well, it just so happens that General Nakasone of the NSA, and I love Japanese warriors, by the way. I think they're pretty honorable there. He happens to be the general of NSA who just absolutely devastated your entire mind hive with just a couple of army soldiers who were planted into the army, and they caught on to what was going on, who have paperwork, by the way, and you called us Russian agents, so that we could slip up behind you. Well, of course, I think the army figured out a long time ago I was the head of the snake and we were going to cut my tail off. That's why I wanted to say, sayonara, suckers. I just wanted to point out Jay Dyer and possibly Alex Jones and folks like you. right there where that mark's at, where the tail gets cut off, the torch is at. Well, there'll still be a few of them remaining. I only say that, Jay, because when you pooted on cue the other day and you had to stop and think about it in the middle of your sentence, well, I knew what you meant. It also just occurred to me, Jen Psaki, circle back. Circle back. Remember that video I made about how my grandpa said he wanted the light put up there and he ended up getting a ticket because he had to sit there and wait for it? And he ran it after he petitioned for the light to be there. He ran the red light and then they gave him a ticket. That was the same red light that I had to sit at tonight with a freaking Ninja crotch rocket sitting there trying to make the sensor go off after I'm trying to get my brother home after I told him I had to make up the excuse that I was, well, it wasn't just an excuse, but you know how this works now, that I missed the short way home because I didn't want to tell him I was all fucked up on mushrooms. Well, maybe I wasn't fucked up now. See what I'm saying there, Pastor? It's like some sort of telephone to God, man, I swear to God. Let me explain something to the Nazi government who made Xanax and hydrocodone so they could cull the urban areas by feeding them a bunch of drugs that murders their children. And they make things like mushrooms, which grow out of a cow turd in the pasture, illegal. That mushroom that grows out of a cow turd, even if a kid that's like I did when I was 14 or 15, and it kind of made me a little more spiritual, by the way, you can't abuse it. You can't abuse mushrooms, okay? You can't abuse them. You can only eat so much of them before eating more of them makes it to where it doesn't affect you. If I eat mushrooms for a week straight, after a week, I can eat a gallon of them and it won't even get me high, right? I mean, that's the thing. They're not addictive because you can't get addicted to them. You cannot get addicted to mushrooms. It's impossible to get addicted to mushrooms. So therefore, you can't abuse them. You see how God put that there for a little telephone. You can get addicted to Xanax. You can get addicted to hydrocodone, which is what the Nazi satanic United States government likes to give you. But they won't allow you to have something that would really unbelievably medicinal value, other than the telephone part, unbelievable medicinal value to mushrooms. But you can't get addicted to them because your body will not let you get addicted to them. It's impossible because your body will metabolize it so fast once your body's used to eating them. Same thing goes for LSD. You can't take LSD 2 nights in a row because if you take it the second night, it doesn't do anything to you. Or 3 nights or 4 nights later. It doesn't do any. You can only take LSD like once every, if you wanted to kind of try to stay high on LSD, you can only take it about once every 2 weeks because dosing it after you come down on it doesn't do anything to you. It doesn't get you high, which that's a chemical and that's not God's drug, but it's a similar situation. It's a hallucinogen. What I'm getting at is these telephones to God, like I like to put it, especially the natural one that comes out of a cow turd, is not. It's a telephone. It is a telephone to God, but it's not addicting. And why would God put a telephone in a cow turd that would as enjoyable as it is? Don't get me wrong. There's people that would like to stay high on mushrooms probably, but you can't. That's the thing. See, God put something there that's enjoyable, but he knew it was so enjoyable that it wouldn't allow you to enjoy it too much. That's how you know God put it there, right? That's the moral to the story that I'm trying to portray here for everyone to understand, that we live in a frickin' Nazi satanic government that feeds you drugs so they can kill you while they make things like that illegal. Those are facts, undeniable facts, and the only way you can figure that out for yourself is to have all the experience, like I do, eating mushrooms. Knowing that I can eat mushrooms tonight, I could eat half a bag of mushrooms tonight, and then tomorrow, if I wanted to get high on mushrooms again, I'm not going to get high on them. I have to wait about 3 weeks before I can actually enjoy those mushrooms again, right? That is a natural it impedes your desire to want to. Well, it doesn't impede your desire. It's a fence. Like, don't enjoy this too much, but enjoy it as much as you can. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. The Nazi United States government doesn't understand that for some reason because they're a bunch of dumb niggers. I'm seeing President Trump in my heads-up display right now, literally. He got on his phone and he said, "Hey, can you order me some of those albino penis mushrooms, please?" Well, I swear to God, I guarantee he's ordering something. Melania's probably been in his ear like, hey, yeah, the great oracle said we need to try out these albino penis mushrooms. And he's sitting Indian style after that and with his thumbs up like this and my heads up display. Yeah. Ooh, those people do mushrooms. Ooh. Big felony. That's the problem. Why is it a felony? You fucking synthetic heroin pushing pieces of shit. Vitamins are really good for you too. Yeah, there's like a behind the scenes program taking place where they're basically trying to ban vitamins. Well, if you can read between the lines here on everything that I've talked about tonight, well, there's a whole lot of lines to be read between all of that now, isn't there? Of course, I explained all of it to perfection already. Their bloody stool. Now that I've explained that to perfection, I've got it on, comes from a very reliable source there, if you will, that President Trump actually does enjoy some mushrooms from time to time. The whole idea of having the sovereign IET for Soviet supermodel wife in the White House with President Trump is whenever President Trump enjoys something, symbolism, right? So you got your little fellow traveler or agent who's connected to you. Whenever President Trump enjoys eating mushrooms or drinking mushroom tea, well, his extraterrestrial supermodel wife also enjoys the mushrooms, right? See how all that comes together there to perfection, if I may say so myself? That's why I put all that together for everybody. So you might put things into perspective for you. Hey, NSA, keep your eye on the albino penis mushroom distributors out of Canada and on the dark web in the next few weeks. I guarantee you they're about to have a shortage of albino penis mushrooms across the board. I guarantee you. And you know the NSA keeps tabs on. They don't give a shit. That's the thing. But Hollywood's, I guarantee Spielberg's already on the phone. Hey, I need like 10 pounds of this like yesterday. So, you know what would be amazing, Cowboy Church? If you would get you like some sort of a snake, somehow have you a snake at the church and do a sermon about how Jesus cuts, well, it's not really necessarily Jesus, about how, well, however you want to do it, cut the head, cut the tail off of the snake, you cut the ass off of the snake, and then hold the head up. Man, if y'all pulled that off, that'd be really good. Get Charlie to like bite its tail off with blood coming off of his face. And then hold its head up. The almighty head. That'd be amazing. It was funny. After I told my brother, I took you the long way home in case, to let God know in case you was dying. While we were sitting at that red light, waiting to go, and nothing happened for like 5 minutes, right? And the guy's over there trying to get the light to turn red. I guess they're on a sound sensor or something. He was waving people. I was like, all right, I got the message. So I started to go while the light was still green. And he said, "Don't go, don't go." It's fucking hilarious. Sorry, I meant to say the light was still red. Uncle Vlad and George Soros both just picked up their phones and my heads-up display and told their secretaries to order them some albino penis mushrooms. Hey, Uncle Netanyahu over there in Israel, who used to be the president or prime minister, whatever y'all call it. The reason that your name was Netanyahu is because remember when Yahoo first came around, like before Google? That was the first net to collect all of everybody's information so they could feed it into a quantum computer. Yeah, Israel came up with that idea first. That's why President Netanyahu was the president, and you know, this water just speaks for itself. So if you have this digital platform that captures everybody's metadata and you can pull it into a quantum computer and use it for warfare after you create transhumanists, well, Israel would have been the first ones with Yahoo. Remember Yahoo? Yahoo Mail and the Yahoo web address and all that stuff, the platform. Well, that is a net, right, to capture everybody's metadata so that you could use that for political warfare, and then everybody else caught on and started doing the same thing. Well, it was God that made sure that when y'all started doing this, that he put all the water out there so that when it was all said and done, right before Jesus popped his head up, that he could, oh, don't be ashamed, let the wicked be silent in their graves. Well, I'm still waiting on all of you to start talking there.